You hear the term all the time, cottage country. Well, cottage country isn't just Muskoka chairs and bug spray. It's part dream, it's part investment, and the other thing is at part, do I really need to be there? Do I really need one of those places?
Yeah, one of the big arguments, Barrie in general, has always been we as a family want to get a cottage, spend an hour and a half plus driving, north on Friday and then south on Sundays, or do we just want to spend the money on a pool? You do have options.
Yeah, and so what has happened to the cottage market since, since COVID? So, are prices falling in cottage country? Not really. They have fallen. They have adjusted. They've softened because inventory is up. It's not like the times during COVID where it was absolutely ridiculous in 22 and 23, where, people that had the hybrid jobs and everything, they were going up north and buying these $1 million, $2 million properties or even $700,000-$800,000, and they were doing their work from the cottage.
Well, obviously that's not sustainable, and the businesses are starting to call them back, so people can't live in their cottages anymore.
Right. Yeah, and the other thing, interest rates. In 21 and 22, interest rates were so low, people were buying them that were, their jobs, the imports or the hybrid jobs that they had up north. And so now all of a sudden, it's a case that, as you're saying, these people are selling their properties, getting rid of that inventory. So the inventory is up. Not as many buyers out there per se. So what's happening is you have less buyers, more inventory. It now becomes a buyer's market indirectly. So more inventory, less buyers, that's a good thing, right? For the buyers. If you're a seller, then, it's a bit more of a struggle for you. The other people that are buying them are retirees. They're selling their place down in Toronto or the bigger cities and they're basically trading in all of that grass and everything that they had to cut for black flies. So, it's an opportunity for them to get to maybe some place that they may not, working all your life and now you're retiring, you're going to a place that you're going to enjoy, put your feet up and sit on the dock. The other is investors. Now, investors use it for Airbnbs. Rules are changing for Airbnbs, so it's becoming a little bit more strict that way, but that's also an opportunity for some of them. The next thing you need to talk about, maybe what are the challenges? What are the challenges for the people that have these cottages?
Well, the biggest challenge for me, and it's always been my biggest challenge, was living in Barrie, is the 400, which is if you're going to be going up north, you're going to be taking the 400 Serious Highway.
It's going to take you a couple hours to get there, and is that worth it to go and sit on the dock?
Yeah.
Right? The other thing you have to worry about is carrying costs, right? You've got heat, hydro, taxes, and all those sort of things, even when you're not there. If you're using it as a cottage, you're still paying full-time taxes, and it's still going to cost you money. And who's going to look after that property when you're not there?
But it is still another property that you are purchasing.
So that goes on to maintenance, right? Like docks break, boats break, that sort of thing. And, it's funny, when you have a cottage, it's a case that, all your friends come up, they drink your beer and eat your food, and they never help you fix anything, right?
Someone who's purchasing for their own sake, they want to go up there, they want to relax. It's almost like it's a constant fight between them and the investors in the area, because the investors are going to be taking the Muskoka properties, they're going to be renting them out. They're basically going to be running them as hotels. And then the people who actually live there are going to have to be dealing with essentially like tourists all the time, which is then your only option is to go further north still. Yeah. And at some point in time, it's like, okay, how far are you willing to drive for your cottage lifestyle?
That's something to be aware of if you're looking at different lakes and that. And the out-of-the-way areas have a tendency to be more quiet. So the smaller lake, less boat traffic, less traffic in general. So
you're also probably a little bit farther from amenities as well, though.
Yeah,
right?
true.
So once you actually get there, if you happen to be out of something, you're going to have to travel more to be able to pick something up.
There are other opportunities out there. If you go a little bit farther, for an example. So, maybe you go up instead of Muskoka, you go to Haliburton, right? So you're not on the shishi places and that. You're going a little bit north and you're buying these properties at a lesser value that maybe like up and coming, right? So sort of an area that hasn't been built up yet. So it's a great opportunity for you. And the great opportunity for you is to start family memories and to work on all that, right? So, we just actually sold one to a family it's going to be the family compound, right? And they're super excited about that their intent is never to sell it. It's to take and have the families grow up there, the grandkids, etc. So I get that.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense.
And while from a purchaser's point, a non-investor specifically, it's still an excellent opportunity for you to get in somewhere And when we say it's less expensive than a home, like we're talking like a quarter, a fifth of the price. Like it's
Depending
not,
on where you go.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you're going to one of the farther off little holes and you're willing to do the extra drive and you're looking for the cottage life, it's a fantastic time and a fantastic opportunity for you to do so.
Generally, the 2025 cottage real estate market, we could call it probably balanced. Leaning more towards a buyer's market, I would say, because inventory is up because of the people trying to cash out, families that have had cottages for years and the value of them now is way up. So they're taking advantage of that. There aren't as many buyers out there. We have more inventory. So I would say instead of balance, it's probably leaning more towards a buyer's market. And, with good properties out there, there's good choice and you can make a good decision with it.